Well, as quick as you can have good luck in this game, you can have bad luck in this game. And, that is wet. To say today did not go the way we hoped would be an understatement. It wasn't a horrid day just yet. We still had mounds left. And we did get a surprise from Yo Mister, but our own horses that we put on the track, I knew Irresistible Sun, that's a salty bunch of horses. He should have been second. He didn't race great. Tim's going to draw his blood again. Under scope, there was nothing found. He felt the same way he did his last start at Flamborough, and his AST was a little elevated then, so I'm curious, did he tie up a little bit again? And if he did, why? Why is he doing that? He never did that before. We've shipped him in the heat to Scioto, Dayton, although he didn't race good at Dayton, but he raced great at Scioto all summer long. I can't really... I don't really know if that's the case or not. We'll see tomorrow. Tim will know. Not tomorrow, the day after or later on in the day, Tim will get the blood back. But he was obviously flat, right? There's no two ways about that. And then I get over here to race Cadeau. Now, it was raining when I got here, and they got the track dug up. Now, I know why. Because they're worried about it freezing. Now, I just don't... I'm not a track guy. I'm not a farmer. But I don't believe digging the track up was necessary tonight. I know they thought once it gets below freezing, you really got to catch that track, because if you don't, then what happens is it will freeze tight. It'll freeze like a rock, and then you can't really cut the track at that point. There's nothing to cut into, and now you just got a slab of concrete. Now, I think that's half the problem, is that our horses have been used to racing on a very hard surface. We have them shod that way. In Cadeau's case, we have bar shoes on them, and we scoped him after because it was an early race. And we did find a little bit of blood. 1.5 to 2 out of 5 is what they categorized it as. But I don't think Cadeau is necessarily a bleeder. We can put him on Lasix, but I don't think tonight was a bleeding issue. I think tonight bleeding was a product of what he had to race in. Usually you'll see horses that bleed like that. They'll feel a little weak on the end. You're like, hey, this horse might have bled. He felt weak the whole way. And there isn't enough blood in there to say, well, maybe he bled training and now he bled in the race. No, this was a complete power outage. It's not like he's a big, strong, strapping colt to begin with. A 1.22 miles on a cold, wintry night is not a fantastic mile. But it's a lot better than what he showed tonight. And he just felt like he was working the whole way and going nowhere. I got away on the inside. At no point could I advance. So I believe the track was just a little too deep for him tonight. Very similar, a different situation with Legion. Obviously, you saw me hit the wheel with Legion, but there was a lot that went into him hitting wheel. Last week, I had no problem staying along the inside. What had happened was we warmed him up with a snake cord. They warmed him up with a snake cord and it broke. So we put a snake cord on the horse. I thought the snake cord was going to be fine. In actual fact, in hindsight, the snake cord was actually about 1 inch too long. And what happens is it really does nothing. So now I'm left pulling on him, where last week I just floated off the gate, seesawed him a bit, put him in a hole. He was very polite. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary. But this is important, because what happens next is he starts to hook on, because that snake cord's not doing its job. It's too long, right? So I guess I should explain exactly what happens with a snake cord. Snake cord is 2 rings and then a piece of rubber-coated wire, like a very small clothesline. Not the same makeup, I guess, but similar. Very, very similar. And it's rubber coated or plastic coated, so it doesn't bother their mouth, irritate their mouth. So you put it on, you put the lines attached to the bit and the snake cord, but the snake cord is tighter on their mouth, and it will create pressure on their jaw and they'll behave themselves. But if that snake cord is too long, what happens is you take a hold of the horse, the cord tightens, but the rings go back past the bit. So now the lines are on the bit. The snake cord is just present. It's really not doing a whole lot. And you could see that with him. Now, in fairness, we were going a super slow half on a super deep, slow track. And when he made the break, I was infuriated. I'm like, why didn't you just move him? But then he made a break down the backstretch, right? And he almost made a break down the lane finishing up. And the reason being, because now he's pulling, that shoves the bike forward just a little bit, maybe this much. But now the hobbles are that much further, that much looser than they were before. Now think of it. You have the hobbles on the horse. You have the strap behind the arch of the bike. Now, when he's not pulling, they're set perfect. But as you grab a hold of him, that harness shoves forward a little bit. And now whatever length that bike shoves forward from where it naturally would be without him pulling really hard, that's how much longer the hobbles are. It might be this much, it might be this much, it might be that much. The hobbles were just too loose. And down the backstretch, I lost him. And down the lane, I wasn't even pulling on him. Still almost lost him. So all because of that snake cord making a break and me not noticing the difference in the length of the snake cord, you got that. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't say that maybe he didn't like the surface tonight either. And obviously the break was caused by me. I ran over the wheel in front of me. But he wasn't like that last week. He was polite. He was subdued. I get into a couple of jams with him last week. The horse I raced tonight in that manner would have cleaned everybody out last week also. Nevertheless, it's done. I didn't see anything different with that horse tonight other than he was hotter. And the lead suspect in that heat, so to speak, would be that snake cord that was a little bit longer. It's the only thing I can think of. Why would it be? Nothing else seemed to miss, except he was a little more angry tonight. And he hasn't been that way since we started him back. Not in his qualifier with the hobbles on. Certainly not in his first start with the hobbles on, but he was tonight. So now we know, right? And again, when you have a horse pulling, you have to make sure the second part of a horse, if they pull with hobbles on, is making sure that back strap is tight. Now, because nothing changed from last week, but factor in everything that I just told you, and it's a recipe for disaster. So it's unfortunate, it's frustrating, but I don't regret not moving the horse. I'm not moving him because I don't want him to get like that. I want him to learn. Last week he was perfect, absolutely perfect, and tonight he was not. So I want to revert back, get him back to the way he was last week, get him back under control, and race him in the same way. So if you think that I'm going to change the way I'm racing him because of what happened tonight, I'm not. I'm still going to try and turn Century Legion into a decent horse. And I think if we cut him loose on the front end, all you're going to do is hear me say that he's just turning into I don't think he's a stake horse. We're going to race him throughout the condition claimers here and then move him on before the Ontario Sire Stakes. That's what you're going to hear me say if we cut this horse loose right now. I'm doing my best to try and teach him how to race. And tonight, he was just frustrated, right? He was fractious. I've seen him that way before, but we've also seen him the other way. And that's what I want to get back to. So all these minor little things, holes in the harness, snake cords that are an inch longer, all these little things play a huge difference. It's my fault. We'll rectify that, and we'll go back at it next week with him. So we had a bad race from Cadeau, who I'm almost certain was slipping. We had a interference break. We'll call it what it was. You know, I'll never know. If I hadn't run over the wheel, I'll never know if he would have made a break in the straightaway down the backstretch or finishing up his mile. I don't know. So I can't really say that. I don't want to make excuses. The initial break was caused by me. That's that. Memory and imagination, you could see how bad the track was. It's not that it was bad. The track doesn't look that bad. It just looks extra deep. And I had asked them just to screen it, but I understand what they're doing. If they miss the track and it freezes, oh my God, it may as well pave it for the rest of the weekend if it gets really cold. So I understand what they're doing, but it's really wreaking havoc on us tonight. I guarantee you it was the reason that Cadeau bled and was no good. I can't really blame the track on Century Legion, but memory and imagination. Here's a horse that just trotted in 56 twice, 55 I think the week before that, and he just couldn't keep up. Now, I was extra cautious with him. I really wasn't scared of the 5. The horse I was worried about was in the 2 hole, and he was gapping too, so I'm assuming the 5 is going to come back to us, but I'm seeing the fractions pop up. You know, 59, 128, this horse should be able to maul them with a jog cart on, going that speed. Now, he finished up well, but 59, 58, 59, that's how deep and taxing the track was tonight. Memory raced as good as he could. No excuses. And no complaints. I'm in one of these races here. Take a look at this. Anthony McDonald. They might be looking for me right now. I'm in the 10th, I think. 0 minutes to race 9. Yeah, I better get going. No, it just says 0 minutes to race 9. I'm in the 10th. And then Memory's in the 12th. So, Memory race good. Now, we still have Mounds for all left. I wanted to bring you this because I don't know what kind of humor I'm going to be in after the 12th race. I haven't seen Mounds since last year. He's coming in on 10 days onto an extremely deep track, which I guess he's been used to racing on at Mohawk. It's been a horrible day, weather-wise. I think Irresistible Sun raced exactly, for the most part, how he did last week. We got to work on him and get him put together well and get him. That's not Irresistible Sun. Whatever's ailing him or bothering him, that is not Sunny. So we'll get him back to being Sunny at some point. He's in a bit of a funk. Cadeau, I am going to blame the track tonight. We will likely put him on Lasix, but I think that blood was from being exhausted tonight, racing on that deep track with heavy bar shoes on. That's what I think it was from. Century Legion, just get him back to the way he was a week ago from tonight. 2 starts ago now. Get him back to there. We won't have a problem. I see they still have the tractor out on the track. I disagree with this because it's not supposed to get cold enough to freeze rock hard. When you're talking about a flash freeze, you're talking about 5, 6, 7 degrees below zero. Right? Right now we're at 36. It's +2 out. I'm looking at the monitor right now. They have the tractor on the track. I think it's a mistake, but whatever. We got one more horse to race. I have another drive I picked up, and I'm done for the evening. The shining star of the day, I didn't write off Yo Mister, but he's racing in the backup class. I just thought, hey, he grabs a bone, good for you. Goes out and wins the race. Raced out of his skin, so great job by Stacy. There's nothing worse than when you just can't seem to get things working properly, and I know that Stacy's felt that way about the horses. Especially last week with the debacle with Vehement. I know she feels that way, and I've been there. I've done that. Listen, I just ran over a wheel with a 1-to-1 favors. Maybe less than 1-to-1. I get it. When things aren't going your way, it's frustrating. But that's the good and the bad of the industry, right? We had a fantastic week last week. We won 8 races, 7 in a row. Couldn't lose. Brought those horses right back. Better draws in the same classes. Picked to win. Didn't get the job done. We'll see how Mounds will do. He's in 9th on the track. I'm in the 10th with somebody's horse to drive. And then we have Mounds in the 12th, and I'm done for the evening. Tomorrow, now we'll see if this does freeze. Tomorrow there may or may not be school, which would be an added wrinkle for tomorrow. Not a whole lot going in the barn. We've trained everything the last 2 days. 3-point Blue Chip qualified also. Justin did a great job. Just want him to go around. Listen, the horse been trotting 54. We put him away sound. We brought him back sound. He trained in 2.6 the other day. Mile and 2.2, whatever he went. It was a good mile. We'll train him up good and race him next Sunday here. Most importantly, how was he? He said he was a little bully, but he gets that way. Was he trotting good? He said, yeah, he got around the track great. Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. So we're going to finish out tonight, and then tomorrow, let's a little quick look ahead here. See what we got on the calendar. There we go. See what we got on the calendar. We have Mounds for All tonight. Looks like money, and then we got a bunch of our horses in to go at Mohawk. Oh, he'll know. I think James is going to drive her conservative, but I think she's going to surprise him. I think he's going to tell me he really likes her after the race. Bluebird Tuxedo Hill was supposed to go to Flamborough, but they called looking to split the class and telling us that the class was not tough, and they must be right. He's 6-to-1 morning line off an okay qualifier. High Hopes also is in. She's 5-to-1 morning line, so they're in a good spot. And then we have Texong Soprano at 2-to-1 tomorrow night. Friday, time is on my side, is picked to win the Open. We'll see if we can not get parked, not run over a wheel or hit anybody or make a menace of ourselves, and see if we can get the job done with him. And then at Mohawk, we have Chevron's Bypass. Never Lose Felix is likely going to leave Ontario Saturday morning, and Rosetta is going to join Harry's Polton's Burn in Ontario. So Dominic's going to lose one, but Harry's going to get one back because I believe also Trosa, James wanted to race that horse once more in Ontario. He stopped short of saying, hey, could you? but I got the distinct feeling he wanted to, and I know that Harry wanted to also. So I said, fine, just race the horse once more. I don't really want to see him race in the middle part of the conditions. You're talking about the lower end of the spectrum, fine, race him. And lo and behold, what happened? He drew the 10 hole. So we'll see how that plays out. Never Lose Felix will come over here, and then we'll switch Rosetta. I suspect after Monday at some point, Trosa will also leave Ontario. So we're moving some horses around right now. And then Foxy Seaside, what she picked? 5-2. She looked some kind of good her last start. Very eager to see her race also. And then on Saturday, Blue Ventura, Rosetta is 5-2. She's very, very good right now. Blue Ventura, who's James driving him? James McDonald, 8-1. Arson, Jonathan Drury's going to, in fairness to James, he did tell me that he would be driving Powertrain, that he was going to stick with him, at least for the time being, over Arson. So Jonathan Drury's going to drive him. And James picked over Neptune, which is fine because the guy that drove him last week is down to drive him again. Neptune, Jonathan Drury will be reunited. Greatest ending is, 20-1. With the 7-hole, though, maybe he'll get out of the gate a little better with him this week. And then I think we have Patrick de Piranha in here Sunday night. And JK Victory is in here Sunday night also. Those just aren't official lines, so they're not up on the calendar yet. So with that, I am going to let you go. Good luck to all my partners with mounts. You know, it does suck. Anytime you come in to a day where you think, geez, I got a bunch that have a shot to win, and none of them do. Memory and Imagination raced as good as he could. We'll blame Century Legion on me. Cadeau was the track, for sure. Hopefully we have no excuses for the next guy going behind the gate. So take care. Maybe I will, maybe I won't talk to you on the way home. Everything else you're up to date with now. Take care.